Hi everybody, it's Linda here. How are you all doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm going through some emotional roller coasters. I'm pretty close to the eclipse here, to the solar full moon eclipse or lunar thing that happened, and the equinox, very close to the equinox right now. I wanted to tell you a story tonight. I have a lot of stories, but this story is one that's very close to my heart, and I wanted to share it. We're all going through some really bizarre things right now. I mean, the people I know are, with their gifts awakening and ascension happening and all of the things that we're going through right now. It's kind of a crazy time. But, okay. 10 years ago in 2006, I had an experience. I was living in Utah. I was living with my brother and his cult church. And I was out there, and I had kind of gotten pretty lonely at the time. Things were going on and stuff, and I was really sad. I was single, and I had, no boyfriend or whatever at the time. And so one night, in my frustration and everything that was going on, I had this one really frustrating night, and I prayed to God for the pretty woman experience, in a sense. I was just like, come on, just send me a little love. I'm just having a really hard time, and I could just use a little bit of pampering. I wanted the pretty woman experience. That's what I asked for. And I kind of got it, and it was really, really interesting. Okay. So, after I said this prayer the next morning, there was this name on my Yahoo account, because back then it was Yahoo. And and I hadn't added the name, so I was kind of curious on, because there was always glitches everywhere you went, but I hadn't added the name, so I wondered what it meant. And so I went back and I, was checking his profile out. And all it said on his profile, it said his name was Hamied. On the Yahoo ID name, he was calling himself Fireman. And on his ID, on his picture explanation, all it said is that he believed in angels. And he was, of course, online. And I had never seen him before or anything like that. And it was just like, well, okay, so I started talking to him. Well, actually, I had to go to work, so I went to work. And then I came back, I was like all excited. And I talked to him when I came back. And he was very flattering and stuff. And, he was just like, no, I know there are angels. And, and we had a big old conversation. And then suddenly he was trying to convince me to come and meet him. And I was, tempted, but it was raining and it was dark. And I was not very good at driving in the area. And I was really nervous about it, especially driving alone that far. And he talked me into it, so I was just like, okay. And I went, and I don't know, I got that nudging to going along with it, okay, like the spirit saying, oh, you need to do this, and so I decided to do this. Well, I almost did drive directly to his house. I drove right across the street from his house and called him, and when he came out, he was across the street from where I was at, so it was kind of cool. And I went in there, and we had a really good conversation for about an hour, and then we ended up, in the bedroom and making love. And it was very, very unique, and the whole time I had the unseen talking to me, and it felt like I was, like the second I stepped through his door, it felt like I stepped outside of time. And it felt like I was in the presence of somebody who was outside of time, or stepped inside of reality, but in his presence, I felt so elated, so vibrated, so enlightened. It was really, really, really weird. And this was back in 2006, so I was like, I really, really held this special. But what was going on in the back of my head, or what was being told to me while I was in this man's presence, is this is a one-time thing. This won't happen again. This is just to show you a little love type of thing, everything that I had asked for. Well, It was really, really cool. And the other cool thing is I had had a deja vu about this experience, because I had had a dream previous, a couple of months before this, maybe 3, and in the dream I had met this man, and I thought it was in a hotel, so a little bit of differences, but I was actually in a house. But this house didn't look lived in, and he claimed that he had built it, so that was also kind of unique. But then he was also very clean. And the other unique thing that happened after this is, I was into cleaning houses, and so was my sister, and she lived there at the time, and so did I. And she had gotten a cleaning house, but, she had gotten a house to clean, and she wanted me to come and clean it with her, and so she invited me along, and it was really weird. It ended up being the house that was across the street from the house where I went and met this guy. And it was definitely for sale. Nobody lived there, so it was like really, really weird. Like they just staged the whole thing, and he didn't really own it at all. But anyways, the very, very most interesting thing about this whole thing, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. I don't have time to say the whole story. Oh crap. Okay. I'm going to make it part 2. That's what I'm going to do. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you later.